Princess Zara stood at the big window and watched the aliens play below. Her blue skin caught the light from the space station's fake suns. She had never seen so many different kinds of beings in one place before. It made her feel strange inside. The space station was called Harmony Point. It was a place where different alien races could meet and trade. Zara had come here with her people, the Ceruleans, for important business talks. But the talks were boring. All her life, she had been told that her people were better than others. They never mixed with other races. They stayed by themselves, on their home worlds. Down in the big room below, she could see the Vorthans playing their thinking games. They had gray skin and big heads. They moved small pieces on boards and seemed to enjoy it very much. Near them, the Klaxi were dancing in the air. They looked like giant bugs with wings, but they moved with grace and beauty. Their dance made patterns in the air that were nice to watch. The resonants were making music together. They looked like living crystals that grew from the ground. When they sang, their bodies glowed with different colors. The sounds they made were like nothing Zara had ever heard. It was beautiful and made her heart feel warm. Zara pressed her hand against the cold glass. She had never been allowed to play with others when she was young. Royal children of her people learned alone. They studied alone. They ate alone. It was the way things had always been done. "Your Highness, we should not stay here too long," said Captain Veltar. He was the head of her guards. He was a big cerulean with dark blue skin and many scars from old battles. "These creatures are beneath our notice." Zara did not answer him. She kept watching the beings below. A group of different aliens had started a new game. They were throwing soft balls to each other and laughing when someone missed. Even when they failed, they seemed happy. This was very different from her world where making mistakes meant shame. "Why do they look so happy?" Zara asked. Captain Veltar made a sound of disgust. "They are simple beings, Princess. They do not understand the weight of duty and honor like we do. Play is for children and lesser races." But Zara was not sure about this. The beings below did not look simple to her. They looked free. They looked like they belonged with each other. She had never felt like she belonged anywhere, not even in her own palace. A small alien child fell down during the ball game. Zara expected the others to laugh or get angry. Instead, they all stopped playing and helped the child stand up. They checked to make sure the child was not hurt. Then they started the game again, making sure the small one could play too. Zara felt something tight in her chest. No one had ever helped her like that. When she fell as a child, her teachers told her that royal children do not cry. They told her to be strong and not show weakness. "I want to go down there," Zara said quietly. "That is not possible, Your Highness," Captain Veltar said quickly. "Your father, the Emperor, has given clear orders. We are here for trade talks only. We do not mix with other races." "But why?" Zara asked. She had never asked this question before. Captain Veltar looked surprised. Because it has always been this way. Because we are pure. Because mixing with others makes us weak." Zara looked at the beings below again. They did not look weak to her. They looked strong in a different way. They helped each other. They shared their joy. They seemed to have something that she had never had. More aliens joined the games below. There were beings she had never seen before. Some walked on many legs. Some had skin that changed colors. Some were very tall, and some were very small. But they all played together like it was the most normal thing in the world. A new group entered the play area. Zara saw they were humans. She had heard of humans but had never seen them before. They were said to be a young race that had only recently joined the galactic community. Her teachers had told her that humans were loud and rude and did not follow proper ways. But the humans she saw below did not look rude. They greeted the other aliens with smiles and kind gestures. One human, a male with dark hair, looked up at the windows where she stood. For a moment, their eyes met through the glass. The human smiled at her and waved. Zara felt her heart jump. No stranger had ever noticed her before, let alone smiled at her. She lifted her hand a little, almost waving back, But Captain Veltar stepped closer to the window, blocking the view. "We should return to our quarters, Princess," he said in a firm voice. But Zara did not move. She kept thinking about the human who had smiled at her. She kept watching the beings below who played together like a big family. She felt more alone than she had ever felt in her life. All her life, she had been told that being alone made her strong. But watching the aliens below, she began to wonder if being alone just made her sad. She began to wonder what it would feel like to have friends who would help her up when she fell. She began to wonder what it would feel like to belong somewhere. The human with dark hair was still looking up at her window. Even though Captain Veltar was in the way, the human seemed to know she was still there. He said something to the other humans, and they looked up too. They did not point or stare rudely. They just seemed interested. Zara made a decision that surprised even herself. Tomorrow, when the free time came again, she would find a way to go down to the play area. She would see what it was like to be with others. She would see what it was like not to be alone. She did not know that this decision would change everything. She did not know that one human smile would start a chain of events that would shake the galaxy. She only knew that she was tired of standing alone at windows watching other people live their lives while she lived none at all. Jake Martinez stood in the play area of Harmony Point and looked up at the observation windows. He had seen the blue alien princess watching them yesterday. She looked so sad and alone up there. All the other aliens were down here having fun, but she just watched. "That's Princess Zara," said Lisa Chen, his friend and work partner. Lisa knew a lot about different alien cultures. "She's from the Cerulean Empire. They don't talk to other races much." "Why not?" Jake asked. He was still, looking up at the window. "They think they're better than everyone else," Lisa explained. "They stay away from other aliens. They think mixing with us makes them weak or dirty." Jake frowned. He had grown up in a place where people from many different backgrounds lived together. His best friend in school had been from China. His neighbor was from Mexico like his family. His teacher was from Africa. Being around different people had made his life better, not worse. "That's silly," Jake said. "Look how much fun everyone has when we're all together." Today, more aliens had come to play. The Vorthans were teaching some humans their thinking game. The Klaxi were showing a group of resonants how to do their air dances. Everyone was learning something new and having a good time. Jake made a choice. He walked to the lift that went up to the observation deck. Lisa followed him. "Jake, what are you doing?" she asked. "I'm going to ask her to come play with us," Jake said. "You can't do that," Lisa said, worried. "There are rules about talking to royalty. You need permission. You need to follow the right steps." But Jake was already in the lift. "Sometimes rules are stupid," he said as the doors closed. The lift opened on the observation deck. Jake saw the blue princess standing at the window. She was even more beautiful up close. Her skin was the color of a summer sky, and it seemed to shine with its own light. But her eyes looked very sad. Two big Cerulean guards stood near her. They had weapons and looked very serious. When they saw Jake, they moved to block him. "Stop right there, human," said the bigger guard. "You cannot approach the princess without proper permission." But Jake smiled and spoke to the princess instead. "Hello, Your Highness, I'm Jake Martinez. I saw you watching us play yesterday and today. Would you like to come down and join us?" The guards looked shocked. One of them put his hand on his weapon. But the princess held up her hand to stop him. I am not allowed to do such things," she said. Her voice was soft and musical, but Jake could hear the sadness in it. "Who says you're not allowed?" Jake asked. "And why do they get to decide what you do?" Princess Zara looked surprised. No one had ever asked her questions like this before. "It has always been this way," she said slowly. "My people do not mix with others. It is not proper." "Says who?" Jake asked again. "What's so improper about making friends and having fun?" Lisa had followed Jake up in the next lift. She came over and smiled at the princess. "Hi, I'm Lisa Chen. I study different cultures. Jake's right, you know. There's nothing wrong with getting to know other people. But my teachers said that other races are lesser," Princess Zara said quietly. "They said mixing with you would make me weak." Jake laughed, but not in a mean way. Lesser? Look, I'll be honest with you. Humans are pretty new to all this space travel stuff. We've only been out here for a few decades. But you know what we've learned? Every alien race we've met has taught us something amazing. Really? The princess asked. Really, Lisa said. The Vorthans taught us new ways to think about problems. The Klaxi showed us how to make art that moves in 3 dimensions. The Resonance helped us understand how sound and light can work together. We're stronger because we learned from them, not weaker. Your people have been alone for so long you've forgotten what it's like to have friends, Jake said gently. Down there, everyone is different. But they all help each other. They all belong. Princess Zara looked down at the play area again. A small human child had just fallen and scraped her knee. Immediately, a Vorthan medic and a Klaxi parent came over to help. They cleaned the scrape and made sure the child was okay. The child hugged both aliens before running back to play. We help each other, Jake continued. When one of us is hurt, we all help. When one of us is happy, we all celebrate. When one of us is scared, we all stand together. That's not weakness, that's strength. But the rules, Princess Zara started to say. Sometimes rules need to change, Lisa said. Especially rules that make people sad and lonely. Captain Veltar, the big guard, stepped forward. Princess, your father would be very angry if you went down there. The Emperor has been very clear about keeping our people pure. But what if being pure just means being alone? Princess Zara asked quietly. Jake could see that she was thinking hard about this. He could see that she wanted to come down and play, but she was scared. Tell you what, Jake said. You don't have to decide right now, but the invitation is always open. Anytime you want to come down and see what it's like to have friends, we'll be there. Friends? Princess Zara repeated the word like it was something new and wonderful. Friends, Jake confirmed. People who like you for who you are, not because they have to. People who want to spend time with you because you're fun to be around. People who will help you when you need it and celebrate with you when good things happen. Princess Zara was quiet for a long moment. Below them, the aliens were starting a new game. They were all holding hands in a big circle, spinning around and laughing. Even the very different aliens could hold hands or claws or tentacles together. I have never had a friend, Princess Zara said very quietly. Then you're missing out on one of the best parts of life, Jake said. But it's not too late to start. What would I have to do? She asked. Just be yourself, Lisa said. Just come down and play. Talk to people, learn about them. Let them learn about you. That's all friendship is. Getting to know each other. It's really that simple? Princess Zara asked. It's really that simple, Jake said. The hard part is just deciding to try. Princess Zara looked at her guards who were shaking their heads. She looked at the window, where the aliens below were having so much fun. She looked at Jake and Lisa who were smiling at her with genuine kindness. For the first time in her life, Princess Zara had a real choice to make. She could follow the old rules and stay alone and safe. Or she could break the rules and try something new and scary and wonderful. If I came down, she said slowly, what would happen? You'd have fun, Jake said simply. You'd learn things. You'd meet people who might become your friends. You'd find out what it feels like to belong somewhere. Princess Zara took a deep breath. She had been alone her whole life. Maybe it was time to try something different. Okay, she said, so quietly they almost couldn't hear her. I want to try. Princess Zara walked into the play area for the first time in her life. Her heart was beating very fast. Captain Veltar and her other guards followed behind her, looking unhappy and worried. They kept their hands near their weapons. Jake Martinez walked beside her, talking in a calm and friendly voice. Don't worry, he said. Everyone here is nice. They're excited to meet you. Lisa Chen was on her other side. We have a game called Cultural Exchange, and she explained. Everyone teaches someone else something from their world. It's fun and easy. Princess Zara looked around at all the different aliens. Up close, they looked even more amazing than they had from the window. The Klaxi had beautiful patterns on their wings. The Vorthans had kind, intelligent eyes. The Resonance sparkled like jewels in the light. But what surprised her most was how they looked at her. They didn't bow down like The people in her palace did. They didn't look scared like most aliens did when they saw ceruleans. They just looked interested and friendly. "Hello there," called a Vorthon named Dr. Kent. "You must be Princess Zara. We're so happy you decided to join us." Hello," Princess Zara said quietly. She had never had a casual conversation with a non-cerulean before. A young Klaxi flew over and hovered nearby. "I'm Zixtal. Want to see how we dance in the air? It's really fun." Princess Zara looked back at Captain Veltar. He was frowning and shaking his head. All her life she had been taught that Klaxi were mindless bugs who only cared about fighting and eating. But Zixtal seemed smart and kind. I don't know how to fly," Princess Zara said. "That's okay," Zixtal said happily. "I can show you. Some ground moves first. Dancing is about feeling the music inside you," Jake smiled. "See? Everyone wants to help you learn." A group of human children ran over. They had been playing with alien children, and they all looked excited to meet a real princess. "Are you really a princess?" asked a little girl named Amy. "Yes," Princess Zara said, not sure what else to say. "Cool," said a boy named Tim. "We're playing space tag. Do you want to play?" Princess Zara had never played tag before. "How do you play?" The children all started talking at once, explaining the rules. One person was it and had to tag someone else. Then that person became it. It seemed very simple, but also very fun. "But I don't know how to run and play," Princess Zara said, feeling embarrassed. "That's okay," Amy said. "We'll teach you. Everyone was new once." Captain Veltar stepped forward. "Princess, this is not appropriate behavior for royalty." But Jake looked at the captain with serious eyes. "With respect, Captain, when was the last time you saw your princess really happy?" Captain Veltar opened his mouth to answer, then closed it again. He had to think about it. Princess Zara had always been quiet and sad. He had never seen her laugh or play or look excited about anything. "Come on, Princess Zara," the children called. "You can be it first." Princess Zara looked at all the happy faces around her. Human faces, Klaxi faces, Vorthon faces, even some resonants who had come over to watch. They all looked like they really wanted her to play with them. "Okay," she said, and immediately felt scared and excited at the same time. The game began. Princess Zara had to chase the other children around the play area. At first she was very slow and careful. She had been taught to move like a princess, slowly and with dignity. But as the game went on, she started to run faster. She started to laugh when someone almost got away from her. When she finally tagged Tim, everyone cheered. "Good job," they called. "You're getting the hang of it." Princess Zara felt something she had never felt before. She felt proud of herself for something fun instead of something serious. "Want to try the Vorthon thinking game now?" asked Dr. Kent. "It's different from running around, but it's fun too." The Vorthon game was played on a board with many colored pieces. You had to move them in patterns to solve puzzles. Princess Zara found that she was quite good at it. Her royal education had taught her to think clearly about complex problems. "You're very smart," Dr. Kent said admiringly. "This puzzle usually takes beginners much longer to solve." Princess Zara felt warm inside. Dr. Kent was complimenting her intelligence, not her royal bloodline or her beauty. He liked her for something she had actually done. Next, Zixtal the Klaxi taught her some simple dance moves. Even though Princess Zara couldn't fly, she could move her arms and body to the rhythm of the music. The other aliens clapped and encouraged her. "You have a natural sense of rhythm," Zixtal said. "In our culture, that means you have a good spirit." The resonants invited her to try making music with them. When Princess Zara hummed along with their crystal songs, her voice created beautiful new harmonies. The resonance glowed brighter with excitement. "Your voice blends perfectly with ours," sang one of them. "You must have music in your soul." Hours passed without Princess Zara noticing. She played game after game, learned skill after skill, and talked to alien after alien. Each one taught her something new about their world and their way of thinking. She learned that Klaxi weren't mindless bugs. They were artists and poets who saw beauty in everything. She learned that Vorthans weren't cold and calculating. They were philosophers who cared deeply about fairness and truth. She learned that resonants weren't just living rocks. They were musicians and storytellers who kept the history of the galaxy in their songs. Everything she had been taught about other races was wrong. Captain Veltar watched his princess with growing amazement. She was laughing. She was smiling. She was talking to strangers like they were old friends. She looked happy, really truly happy. Some of the other Cerulean guards started to look interested too. They watched the aliens helping each other and sharing their knowledge. They saw that no one was trying to hurt or trick Princess Zara. Everyone just seemed to want her to have fun and feel welcome. As the day ended, Princess Zara felt tired but wonderful. She had learned so many new things and met so many interesting people. For the first time in her life, she felt like she belonged somewhere. "Thank you," she said to Jake and Lisa. "Thank you for inviting me. This was the best day of my life." "It doesn't have to be the only day like this," Jake said. "You could come back tomorrow. You could keep learning and playing and making friends." Princess Zara looked back at Captain Veltar. He looked confused and worried, but not angry. Maybe, just maybe. He was starting to understand too. "I want to come back," Princess Zara said firmly. "I want to keep learning about everyone." But as they walked back toward the Cerulean quarters, Princess Zara didn't know that her father had already heard about her day. She didn't know that the Emperor was very, very angry. She didn't know that tomorrow would bring the biggest choice of her life. All she knew was that for one perfect day she had not been alone. For one perfect day she had been part of something bigger and better than herself, and she never wanted to go back to being alone again. Princess Zara woke up excited to go back to the play area. She had dreamed about her new friends all night. But when she got dressed and left her room, Captain Veltar was waiting for her with a very serious face. "Princess," he said quietly, "your father wants to speak with you, right now." Princess Zara's heart sank. She could tell from his voice that something was very wrong. She walked to the communication room where a big screen showed her father's angry face. Emperor Kethvar looked furious. His blue skin was darker than usual, which happened when Ceruleans were very upset. "Zara," he said in a loud, angry voice, "what is the meaning of this? I have reports that you spent yesterday playing with inferior alien beings." "Father, they're not inferior," Princess Zara said, trying to be brave. "They're wonderful. They taught me so many things." "They contaminated you," the Emperor shouted. "You are the heir to the Cerulean throne. You cannot lower yourself by mixing with lesser races." "But why are they lesser?" Princess Zara asked. "They're smart and kind and—" "Because I say they are," her father interrupted. "Because our traditions say they are. You will return to Cerulean space immediately. I am sending Admiral Thexvar to bring you home." Princess Zara felt tears in her eyes. "But father, I'm learning so much. I'm happy here." "Happiness is not important," the Emperor said coldly. "Duty is important. Purity is important. You will come home and you will never speak to aliens again. That is final." The communication ended, leaving Princess Zara alone with Captain Veltar. She sat down and cried. All her life she had done what her father told her to do. But now she had seen what life could be like. She had tasted freedom and friendship. How could she give that up? "Princess," Captain Veltar said softly, "I saw you yesterday. I saw how happy you were." Princess Zara looked up at him in surprise. "You did?" "Yes. In all the years I have guarded you, I have never seen you smile like that. I have never seen you laugh like that." He sat down next to her. "It made me think about my own life. When was the last time I laughed? When was the last time I had fun?" Before Princess Zara could answer, there was a knock on the door. Jake Martinez and Lisa Chen came in, along with Admiral Susan Parker, the human fleet commander in this area. "Princess Zara," Admiral Parker said, "we heard about your father's order. We want you to know that you have options." "What do you mean?" Princess Zara asked. The Terran Federation has a law about asylum, Jake explained. If someone is being forced to do something against their will, they can ask for our protection. You could stay here, Lisa added. You could join our cultural exchange program. You could keep learning and making friends. But I would never see my people again, Princess Zara said sadly. Maybe not at first, Admiral Parker admitted. But sometimes change has to start with one person being brave enough to try something new. Princess Zara thought about this. She thought about going back to her empty palace where she would sit alone in her room and never talk to anyone interesting again. She thought about staying here, where she could learn and play and have friends, but where she would be cut off from her family and her people. I don't know what to do, she said. Dr. Alex Thompson, a human who studied how people think and feel, came to talk with her. Princess, he said, let me ask you something. When you were playing yesterday, when you were learning from the other aliens, how did you feel? I felt alive, Princess Zara said. I felt like myself for the first time. And when you think about going back to your old life, how do you feel? Princess Zara's shoulders sagged. Empty. Sad. Like I'm disappearing. Dr. Thompson nodded. Sometimes the right choice isn't the easy choice. Sometimes we have to choose between what other people want for us and what we know is right for ourselves. That night, Princess Zara couldn't sleep. She walked to the observation window and looked down at the play area. Even though it was late, some aliens were still there, talking quietly and sharing stories. They looked peaceful and happy. Jake found her there. Couldn't sleep either? He asked. I keep thinking about my people, Princess Zara said. What if I'm being selfish? What if my duty is to go back and do what my father wants? Can I tell you a story? Jake asked. Princess Zara nodded. A long time ago on Earth, there was a woman named Rosa Parks. She lived in a place where people with dark skin like hers were told they had to sit in the back of buses. One day, she decided she was tired of that rule. She sat in the front and refused to move. What happened to her? Princess Zara asked. She got in trouble. She was arrested. But her brave choice started a change that made life better for millions of people. Sometimes one person standing up for what's right can change everything. But what if I'm wrong? What if mixing with other races really does make us weak? Lisa joined them at the window. Look down there, she said. Do those aliens look weak to you? Princess Zara looked. A group of different species were working together to fix a broken game. The Klaxi used their flying ability to reach high places. The Vorthans figured out what was wrong with the mechanism. The humans brought tools. The resonance provided light to see by. Working together, they fixed it quickly. They're stronger together than any of them would be alone, Princess Zara realized. Exactly, Jake said. Your people have been alone for so long. They've forgotten what it's like to have help. They've forgotten what it's like to have friends. Maybe, Princess Zara said slowly. Maybe my duty isn't to follow the old ways. Maybe my duty is to find new ways that are better. What do you mean? Lisa asked. What if I stayed here and learned everything I could? What if I became an ambassador between my people and the rest of the galaxy? What if I could show them that other races aren't enemies to fear, but friends to treasure? Jake smiled. That sounds like a pretty good duty to me. The next morning, Princess Zara made her choice. When Admiral Thexvar arrived with the Cerulean fleet to take her home, she told him she was staying. I am requesting asylum with the Terran Federation, she announced. I want to learn about other cultures and find ways to help my people understand that isolation makes us weaker, not stronger. Admiral Thexvar was shocked. Princess, you cannot do this. Your father will be furious. There might be war. Then, I hope I can learn enough here to prevent that war, Princess Zara said bravely. The news spread quickly through the galaxy. The Cerulean princess had chosen aliens over her own people. Some species were excited by her courage. Others were worried about what the Cerulean Empire might do. But Princess Zara had made her choice. She would rather be free with her friends than trapped with her crown. She would rather learn and grow than stay safe and small. She didn't know if her choice was right, but she knew it was hers to make, and for the first time in her life that felt like enough. The Cerulean battle fleet arrived at Harmony Point 3 days later. Princess Zara watched from the observation deck as dozens of blue warships surrounded the space station. Her heart was beating fast, but she wasn't alone this time. Jake Martinez stood beside her, along with Lisa Chen and many of her new friends. "They look angry," said Amy, the human child who had taught Princess Zara how to play tag. "They look scared," Princess Zara corrected gently. "When people are afraid, they sometimes act angry to hide it." Admiral Thexavar's voice came over the station's communication system. "Harmony Point, return Princess Zara to us immediately, or we will take her by force." Admiral Susan Parker responded calmly. "Admiral Thexavar, Princess Zara has requested asylum under galactic law. She is here by her own choice. She is Cerulean royalty," Admiral Thexavar shouted. "She belongs with her own people." Down in the play area, aliens from many different species had gathered. They were worried about the warships, but they were also worried about Princess Zara. In just a few days, she had become their friend. They didn't want her to be taken away. Dr. Kent the Vorthan stood up. "Princess Zara belongs wherever she chooses to belong," he announced. Zixtal the Klaxi flew in circles, which was how her people showed agreement. "She is our friend now. We protect our friends." The resonance began to sing a harmony that meant standing together in their crystal language. Jake had an idea. "What if we tried something different?" he suggested to Admiral Parker. "What do you mean?" she asked. "What if instead of just defending Princess Zara's choice, we showed the Ceruleans why she made it?" Admiral Parker looked interested. "Go on." "The Ceruleans think other races are inferior because they've never really met us," Jake explained. "What if we invited some of them to come to the station, not for fighting, but for talking?" "You want to invite them to play?" Lisa asked, understanding. "Immediately." "Why not?" Jake said. "It worked with Princess Zara." Admiral Parker thought about this. It was a crazy idea, but sometimes crazy ideas worked better than normal ones. She opened a communication channel to the Cerulean fleet. "Admiral Thexavar, I have a proposal. Instead of fighting about Princess Zara's choice, why don't you send some of your people to the station? Let them see what she's been doing here. Let them meet the aliens she's been learning from." "Absolutely not," Admiral Thexavar replied. "We do not associate with inferior beings." But Captain Veltar, who was still on the station with Princess Zara, stepped forward. "Admiral, I have been watching the princess for 3 days. I have seen her happier than ever before in her life. Perhaps we should try to understand why." Princess Zara looked at her guard with surprise and gratitude. "Captain Veltar?" "Princess," he said quietly, "yesterday I watched you help a Klaxi child who had hurt her wing. You were so gentle and kind. I realized that you have become a better person since coming here, not a worse one." Other Cerulean guards who had been watching nodded slowly. They had seen the same thing. "I volunteer to go to the station," said Commander Ryan, a young Cerulean officer. "I want to see what the princess has been learning." "So do I," said Lieutenant Sarah, another officer. Admiral Thexavar was outnumbered by his own people. Reluctantly, he agreed to let a small group visit the station. When the Cerulean officers arrived, they expected to find Princess Zara being held prisoner or brainwashed. Instead, they found her in the play area, teaching a group of alien children how to speak basic Cerulean words. "Hello, Commander Ryan," Princess Zara said with a big smile. "Come meet my friends." Commander Ryan had never seen Princess Zara look so confident and happy. She introduced him to Dr. Kent, who immediately started asking intelligent questions about Cerulean engineering. Ryan found himself in a fascinating conversation about starship design. Lieutenant Sarah met Zixtal, who was curious about Cerulean military tactics. But instead of wanting to use them for war, Zixtal was interested in how they could be used for rescue operations during natural disasters. Katie Walsh, a human engineer, showed the Ceruleans some of the collaborative projects. happening on the station. Humans and Vorthons working together on new computer systems. Klaxi and Resonance creating art that combined movement and music. Different species sharing their knowledge to solve problems no one could solve alone. This is not what we expected, Commander Ryan admitted. What did you expect? Jake asked. We thought other races would try to use the princess or hurt her or make her forget her heritage, Lieutenant Sarah said. Instead, they just wanted to be her friends, Princess Zara said. They wanted to learn from me and they wanted me to learn from them. They made me feel like I belonged. Dr. Kent overheard and came over. We don't want Princess Zara to stop being cerulean, he explained. We want her to be cerulean and our friend. We want her to share her culture with us while learning about ours. You mean she can be both? Commander Ryan asked. Of course, Lisa Chen said. Friendship doesn't mean giving up who you are, it means adding new parts to who you are. Captain Veltar, who had been watching quietly, stepped forward. Commander, in all my years guarding the princess, I have never seen her this alive, this confident, this happy. If this is what friendship does, then perhaps friendship is not a weakness. The cerulean officers stayed for 2 days. They played games, learned about other cultures, and shared stories about their own people. They discovered that other aliens were genuinely interested in cerulean history and achievements. No one was trying to diminish them or replace them. Most importantly, they saw that Princess Zara was not becoming less cerulean. She was becoming more herself. When they returned to their fleet, they had much to report to Admiral Thexvar. And what they reported was not what anyone expected. Admiral, Commander Ryan said, I think we may have been wrong about other races. What do you mean? Admiral Thexvar demanded. They're not trying to harm us or weaken us, Lieutenant Sarah explained. They want to learn from us, they respect us. They think we have valuable things to offer. And Princess Zara, Captain Veltar added, is not a prisoner. She is a teacher and a student. She is building bridges between our people and the galaxy. She is doing something no cerulean has ever done before. Just then, a new message came from Emperor Kethvar himself. He was coming to Harmony Point personally to retrieve his daughter. When Princess Zara heard this news, she was scared but determined. I won't go back to being alone, she said. I won't go back to being afraid of others. Jake put his hand on her shoulder. You won't be alone, he promised. We'll stand with you. And when Emperor Kethvar arrived at Harmony Point, he found something that shocked him completely. His daughter was not alone and afraid. She was surrounded by beings from across the galaxy, aliens and ceruleans alike, who had all come to support her choice. The blue heiress who had once stood alone at the window watching others play, now stood with an entire community behind her. She had learned that the greatest strength was not in standing apart, but in standing together. And, slowly, carefully, the Emperor began to listen to what his daughter had learned. He began to see that perhaps isolation was not strength after all. Perhaps real strength was having the courage to reach out and make friends with the galaxy. Princess Zara smiled as she watched her father meet Dr. Kent for the first time. It was the beginning of something wonderful and new. It was the beginning of the cerulean people joining the larger family of the galaxy, all because one human had seen a lonely princess and said, "Come join us."